Well, Robert Earl Dean, there you have it right there. That threw us all the way back, man. And
Oh,
I tell
yes.
you that one right there, that's one of your favorite songs. You play this song no matter what.
This is a gospel music standard. And people are singing it all over the country even now
Hmm.
because it's a song that is, like you say, evergreen.
Amen. Well, Robert Earl Dean, the moment that everybody's been waiting for, the
What
moment
moment?
that, hey, man, I'm just going to say the moment that the incomparable voice, I'm not going to even fan out today. I'm just going to say we have a friend of yours, a sisters of yours, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Dr. Robert Earl Dean.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited. This young lady is a 5-time Grammy Award winner. She's an actress. She's a songwriter. She's an entrepreneur. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker. And she is my big sis, the one and only Miss Yolanda Adams. Welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You up vibrantly. How are you?
I can hardly hear you, Robert. I hear Dr. LT fine.
Okay, we're gonna get that worked out right quick so
Yes,
that
yes,
you
yes.
can hear us both fine. Robert, keep on talking. We want to make sure she can hear you.
Miss Yolanda Adams, it has been 13 years since you did your last project. Where have you been and why have you not been recording your solo stuff?
Well, I've been all over the world and have also recorded and collaborated with a lot of other people. Of course, you guys know Kingdom Business, 2 seasons of that took over. And right as we were recording in 2019, all of a sudden the pandemic happens in 2020, so it stops everything.
Hmm.
And so you know how God is when we think, oh my gosh, this could not have happened at a worse time. And God is like, I got you, I got you, I got you. And
Right.
so now the timing is perfect because the release of the single on Friday
Hmm.
jump starts us on our tour that starts the following week, the reunion tour with Fred Hammond, the Clark sisters, of course, Kirk Franklin, and our brother Bishop Marvin Sapp, and Miss Kiara Sheard as well. So, God's plans are always the best.
And his timing is always the right time.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. I thank you for working with. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're very excited about you. I just want to jump in,
Jump in.
and Robert got me hooked on this kingdom business. Um, can we talk a little bit about it because it's so intriguing that I'm like saying, Robert, we got to get a cameo on there.
I got mad at her watching the character.
Well, that is a Dr. Holly Carter and Devon Franklin and a BET. So y'all submit your questions and your comments and your requests to them.
It means you
But we
did a good
love
job.
Kingdom Business because it is one of those stories that people don't think actually happens in the church. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, some of the things that we portray have actually happened in the church. You know, the
Yep.
church is an amazing entity, and some people are like, "Oh, they're so boring in the church, and they're so this and a child." Listen, if you watch Kingdom Business, you figure out, no, we're not.
Yeah.
That's right.
One of the things that I would say is that um, every every time that I hear your name in the industry, from Dr. James Jazzy Jordan to anybody that ever talks about you, they talk about how kind and how sweet you are, and so the character itself doesn't really represent who you are because
Mm-mm.
everywhere you go, your reputation is being kind and sweet and caring. And so that's why when I watch it, I'm like, oh, she is acting her Takeshita off because that is not her in real life.
Absolutely. I've had to look, Dr. LT. I've had some people say, I don't know if I can be a fan of yours because you're mean. I'm like, ma'am, I'm playing the character,
Right.
acting.
Right.
So yeah, so that means that I'm doing my job right.
Yes. Yes. And it's funny because I got mad at you and I've known you forever. And I was like, okay, she's only acting. So remember that.
Yeah, so if I can listen, if I can convince you that that's me, man, I'm doing my again. I am doing my job, but I love acting because it gives me a chance to be someone who's intensely not like me, except in the gospel area and loving my family
Mm-hmm.
very fiercely.
Mm-hmm.
And Danita's clothes game is on point.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we got that together. But all that mean stuff and then trying to stop somebody's career and stuff like that, no, that's the furthest thing from my mind.
That's right.
Now, I also want to say that you have a lovely, lovely daughter who,
Yes.
because of you, I've become a fan of hers. And what shocked me so much is I was watching a movie,
Mm-hmm.
and after the end of it, I'm like, wait a minute, was that Miss Adams' daughter? So I had to go rewatch the movie to know that that was her, and she was acting so good that it just told me I didn't realize that it was your daughter because she was playing her part. Her part.
Oh yeah, and she, she went to Howard University, graduated with honors and all of that good stuff. She's a theater arts major, business minor, and she told me when she was a little girl, she's like, "Mom, I'm going to move to California when I get big." I'm like, "Okay." I had 17 years to get ready for that.
Right.
And when she got there, and I told her, I said, "Your trajectory is not the norm." I said it takes people a long time to even get their foot in the door.
Yep.
And when she got there, she auditioned and got the roles for like 3 parts. And I said, you keep God first. You keep honing in on your craft. You keep doing what you absolutely love to do, and the doors will open. And God just opened doors. I can't. You know how parents like to say, well, I called so-and-so and I made sure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to call nobody because she went out and did that on her own. And if anybody knows Miss Taylor Ayana, they know she is a force.
Yes.
Whatever she wants, she's going to work hard to get. She's learned that from her mom and her dad,
Mm-hmm.
that, you have to be prepared no matter what door God opens. Because God will open a door when you are ready for that door to be open. And he's not going to open a door if you are ill prepared. And that's why, Robert, the Bible tells us, be ye also ready.
Be ye also.
Now, I want to ask this question because I met your sister Allegra Novella, and I just want to know. I want to know, how was it growing up with all this beauty in one house?
You are hilarious. Well, when you grow up around it, it's like the norm.
Right.
Because all of our, we didn't even think about that, Dr. LT. We really do have a good-looking family. Oh my God, that don't sound so vain, but no, I don't mean it like that. But you never really think about it because everybody in the house can sing. Everybody in the house has their own passion.
Mm-hmm.
And, their own things that they do. My brothers played Little League football, baseball, and basketball. In high school, they played football and basketball. I have one brother who is an actor. He's also in California. I have a brother who's a lawyer. I have another brother who's on the East Coast with his lovely family. I mean, and it's just like you grow up with this, and it's just the norm. You don't think anything of it because you wake up and your mom and your dad are calling you beautiful and handsome, and so that exudes in you, and you also learn the qualities and the characteristics that it takes to be a great person, which is where the kindness and the meaningfulness and and the heart for people comes from. Because my dad was a coach. And, we learned so much from my mom and my dad that, it just spills over. So I'm going to have to tell Allegra what a compliment. Thank you, Doc.
And
Well,
and she's talented too. So she ain't just beautiful. She can rap. She can do her thing as well.
Oh, yes, she is. Yes. I
well,
can't wait until the world sees
Yes.
Allegra Novella because she is such a, oh my God, she's a fireball.
Yes, she is.
well. That's the one thing that I love about your family is that no one is riding anybody's
Nope.
coattails. The wave is just going in the right direction, and Allegra, she is so funny because when I hear you talk, you are so polished, and when I hear her talk, I say, "Oh, that's my homegirl from the neighborhood."
Yes, yes. But it has to do with her era of growing up.
Right.
Yeah,
And we talk about this all the time. Terry Lewis from the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis dynamic duo.
Right.
We talk about the language that these kids have in their generation. And, in my generation, we were taught to be polished and, you know, be careful with your words, write your words, practice your cursive and all this kind of stuff. I don't even know if people can even write in cursive anymore. It's crazy. But I got a chance to see Allegra's generation, my brother and her brothers in her generation have a different kind of lingo, but it still meant the same. And Allegra is able to go into places that I can go, but to be able to talk one on one in a deeper level with people, that takes skill, that takes anointing, and I am just so glad that I am cool adjacent because of her.
Right. Now, my question to you is, when did you start in-house music, and what prompted you to start your own record label?
Wow, in-house management and in-house music started years ago. In-house music is probably 20 years old. In-house management is probably 30 years old. So I can't tell anybody else I'm 35 anymore. But yeah, those are companies and corporations that I have that I started because I realized that everything I needed was already in-house. All of our tools and talents we're born with when we get to this earth, and God allows us to hone in on those talents and anointings and blessings. And everybody that I'm surrounded by is literally a master in what they do. Steve Bracy manages
The
me,
best
but he
manager.
is a master
Best.
at strategy and logistics and engineering and sound. A lot of the things that you hear coming out of the Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama era with the live recording, Steve Bracy had a hand in that. Also a master, Rodney East, my MD. He has played for everyone from Ron Isley to R. Kelly, myself, and I mean just so many folks, and these are people that are in my camp, and I'm like, no, we have everything that we could possibly need.
Yes.
And Montana, he is great at publicity and all of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I was honoring them with the name of my corporation in-house.
Right.
Because everything we need is already in-house. That's what the word says.
That's right. And one thing about you, and I can say this not being biased, is that you are a supporter and pusher of others. People can never say that you are about yourself. And I'm a product of that as well. What I'm doing now, you spoke into existence like 25 years ago.
And Miss Yolanda, I want to just ask this question. You do a lot of major events, major TV specials, and I just want to ask: do you ever get reprimanded when you take them all the way to church and folks be kicking off their shoes in these professional environments in the White House and everything else? Does anybody ever come and tell you, don't you do that to them no more?
No, I think they expect that because again, we all are born with the spirit of God on the inside of us, and I just feel that wherever God sends me, that's it's intentional. That's His plan, and somebody somewhere needs some type of encouragement, and you're never too far off from that one word that'll take you over. So, and I've never been reprimanded, and thank God I am not affiliated with anything that would put a lid or a top on what I do, because God is king and He's my source.
Because I
Yes, he
want you to
is.
know when you was at the Soul Train awards and you was singing and we was wiped out in the living room, and so I know they had to be wiped out where they were at, and I mean you sung so hard I was hurt. I was
But if
like,
you look at again, speaking to talk about speaking to someone else's language, did you notice all the young people that were standing up?
Yep.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And so it goes to show that, we're not so far off from this generation that we're saying, oh, they're this, they're that. No, no, no. We were them at one time. And
Come on.
somebody was saying that about us.
Come on.
And so give them the honor that they are due as well, because these kids are more spiritual than we give them credit for.
Yes, and growing up, we've been taught a certain thing. We don't know these people's personal relationships with Christ. Many of these singers, rappers, etc., we be talking about how they collaborating. Some of these people love the Lord more than those that are going to church every Sunday.
And two, we're never supposed to judge anyone's relationship with God.
Come on.
I say this constantly, that, God has a way of speaking to all of His children.
Yes.
And it is not my job to say, okay, you're a child of God, you're not. You're a child of God, you're not. That's why we wrote Child of God for the new project Sunny Days, which comes out September 13th. The full project comes out September 13th. Church Doors comes out on Friday. But we wrote the song to let people know that if you are communing with God, if you are praying, if you are meditating, if you have a walk with Him, you are a child of God.
Yes.
If you are listening to Him, you are a child of God. If you look at something and it makes you cry, or you feel, emotional, or about somebody being done wrong, you're a child of God. Forget what traditional religious folks who are stuck in their bubbles think. You are a child of God. If you made it to this earth, and I say this all the time, if you made it to this earth, you are a child of God. And so I love that song as well, because it doesn't put limits. I am not a person who puts limitations on people or allows limitations to be put on myself and anybody that I love. No, we're able to do anything we're supposed. We put our minds to, because if you have a desire, that means God has put that desire in your heart. What does the word say? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to
Own understanding.
In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. But then it also says that when you delight yourself in Him, He gives you the desires of your heart. Not just the things that you desire, but He puts good and right desires in you. And so with those good and right desires being put in you as you follow Him, you can't help but express His love on this earth. And that's what we're supposed to do as children of God.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you preaching now, doctor.
She's a preacher too, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I gotta ask this question, and this is my last throwback question. When did you stop? When did you stop carrying your own bags and allowing other people to assist you? Because I heard a story about you when you was really going up the ladder. Somebody went to grab your bag. She's like, "No, I'll get it." They're like, "No, you're allowed to help." She said, "I'll grab your bags too." So when did you allow people to start assisting you and not feel like you still had to carry all your bags all the time?
Well, I still carry all my bags, Dr. L. My team is always like, no, we got that. I'm like, no, I got it. I, I, I think it's synonymous for me, not just for me. I'm just speaking, for myself. I think it's synonymous with still being grounded and connected. Because I don't want to be, well, I know I never will be that person, but I don't want to be that person that takes for granted that someone else's kindness is owed to me.
Okay.
So that's why it was, when that gentleman said, no, I'll take your bag. I'm like, no, I'll take yours too.
Right.
Because, for so long, that has been called, especially in the entertainment world, that's been called being a diva, or, now they have this term for guys, Devo. But to stay grounded and to stay connected, that's just my personal choice. I don't down anybody who has a different view of that. But I am well aware of the power that I walk in, and I do not take that lightly, but I do not abuse that.
That's right. Now, how is this project, Sunny Days, different than any other project? Because you've done 11 studio projects, 2 live recordings, and 6 compilation projects.
Oh, that's a good question, Robert. I think that this is a continuation of the musical journey and growth of Yolanda Adams. Also, the spiritual growth in the word as well as in the works of Yolanda Adams, because I try to write music and do music that speaks to the climate of the day that we're living in. And when I do that, it spreads globally fastly.
Yes.
And I guess fastly is not a word. I'm talking like the orange man. But
we got you.
But when we do that, because there's a season to everything.
Yes.
Ecclesiastes tells us that there's a season to everything, and this is the season to make sure that people are encouraged and inspired.
Oh, yes.
Because of all of the things that we've gone through. The climate of the world is so contentious right now. I have to bring in joy and love and peace and serenity and happiness and dancing and clapping and, all of those things that make us think about our lives, because I don't want anybody to walk away thinking, oh, she has all of this and she does all of this and her life is perfect. No one's life is perfect. Everyone's life is manageable.
Right.
And so when you look at your life from the lens of how God sees you, half of that battle is over.
Yes.
So I love the fact that I am able to, from my own experiences, garner words that can resonate with folks all over the world, to let them know that God has them. He has them no matter what their situation looks like and no matter how they feel at the present moment. And I have learned this in my life. My dad taught me this. My mom, my grandmother and grandfather taught me this. Do not ever make a permanent decision in a temporary place, because everything is temporary. It can change in a moment.
Yes.
So this is what I want to ask. This young, anointed young lady from Houston, Texas, and all these Houston folks is online claiming you right now, hollering your name and everything else, all on line. Folks is asking. One lady said, "Yep, she still carry her bags because I saw her in Orlando and she had her bags." And somebody else on here saying, "When is she coming to San Diego?" You got folks on the line saying, "We celebrating our 45th anniversary listening to the radio show with Yolanda."
Wow.
Here's my question to you.
Awesome.
You have been all over the world. If you were to pick 3 places that were your favorite places that you were able to minister, perform, and go to, what would be your top 3?
Wow.
That's impossible, because because I have been so many places where God has just shown up, and it's just phenomenal to be able to go to different countries. You know, the United States, we're spoiled over here.
Yes, we are.
Because we get great music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to places in Africa and Europe and Asia, and the people are so happy that you come to, to minister and be there with them, and you see the countries, and you see the people for who they are, beautiful and amazing, and again, God's children. I think I don't have to say those three continents are the three places that I can say, because you can't just say, okay, this place in California, because there are like 5 different places in California that are my favorite places, San Diego being one.
See,
and you guys know
that.
I'll be there in November with the reunion tour.
Yep.
But the 3 continents to me that have been the most impactful, that have opened my eyes to what is possible, definitely Africa is number 1, because I never get tired of going to Africa. We've had crowds of over 60,000 people,
Jesus.
200,000 people, just lined up in the streets waiting. And to have that kind of impact is very humbling, because you don't want to let people down. Mm-hmm. And then in Europe, we were in Vienna, and I'm just like, man, people, music really is that global thing that brings us together. And Asia, oh my gosh, we were in Osaka opening up this beautiful theater space, and we were the first artists in that theater, not just the first gospel artist in that particular theater. We were the first artists in that theater. So I've had a lot of firsts and a lot of historical things that have just blown my mind, but it's only because of who I am in God, what God has placed on the inside of me, the human touch thing that I treasure. I believe that has a lot to do with everything. It's not because Yolanda can sing or direct or produce. It's because God is so great and so faithful.
Yes. Well, sister, we are so honored to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Friday, let's please go out and let's get this single. We have been waiting and waiting, and we want her to go number 1 all over the world. Billboard, every award, every chart. We want it to be done, because this is the one.
Weeks.
Yes, for the next 35 weeks.
Yes.
So, sister, thank you.
Absolutely. We love that.
Yes. Thank you so much for this. We know you have to go because you're on your tour of radio interviews and stuff. But we thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Steve Bracy and Miss Cynthia from Epic Records, for making this possible. We love you and we appreciate you.
Well, listen, I thank y'all for always having me. Whether I had an album out or a single out or anything out, you guys have always allowed me to come on the show, and I just love you all. Thank you. May the Lord just bless your socks off and expand your territory by monumental means and monumental numbers. I love y'all so much.
We love you more, and we're going to just go all the way back and just give them a little fun music to take us out with the song, Yeah. This is the incomparable voice of Miss Yolanda Adams. Thank you so much. God bless you. Be safe.